Hi, I'm Shane Jolly. There's no better place in the world than Australia for a driving holiday. And you're about to see why right here on Australia's Best Drives. Well, our first drive starts in the scenic town of Busselton. From there, we'll take in the wonderful Margaret River region and finish in Cape Leeuwin. This fabulous road trip winds its way through incredible wineries, sumptuous local produce, pristine coastlines, and unique rainforests. And with so many different things to do along the way, makes it one of Australia's best drives. This journey is known as the Cape to Cape, and I'll travel down stunning Caves Road. Busselton is 220 kilometres southwest of Perth, and this beautiful region has been voted WA's top tourist town 3 times, and its most famous landmark is the Busselton Jetty. It is the longest wooden pylon jetty in the southern hemisphere that stretches out into the ocean to an amazing 1.84 kilometres. And right at the very end of it lies something that's worth the walk. This is one of 6 natural underwater observatories in the world?
Yeah, that's correct. So this is one of only 6 that we don't feed the fish and don't keep anything in captivity, so it's what you naturally get in the ocean. The building itself weighs about 550 tonnes. So what they did is they dropped in the water in Fremantle, then towed it by a tugboat all the way here to Busselton.
Oh, wow.
We then had to fill it with seawater to sink it down to the sea floor.
So what are some of the unusual sightings that you've seen?
You also get a lot of other varieties of fish ranging from leather jackets and wrasse and different varieties of damselfish. You had a sea lion down here, which is quite rare. You also get a lot of other varieties of fish ranging from leather jackets and wrasse and different varieties of damselfish.
Now, I imagine this would be a pretty good job. What's your favourite part about it?
The office view is one of my favourite things.
It's not a bad office view, is it?
You can't go past it. Every week I'm seeing something I've never seen before. And the great thing is like being able to teach people about it, and I find that really enjoyable as well.
If you've worn yourself out making the walk to the observatory, fear not. There's a great little train that shuttles back and forth along the jetty and gives you the chance to relax and take in this beautiful harbour. From Busselton, it's only a short drive to Dunsborough, where I'm hoping to have a whale of a time with the guys at Naturalist Charters. Well, I've never seen a whale in my life, so really? hopefully we see one, mate.
I reckon we'll get onto one in the next 5 or 10
Do you reckon?
minutes. Yeah.
I've got full confidence in you, mate. So they're heading to Antarctica, or?
Yes, so we're on the southern migration now, so they've been up in just north of Broome.
Yep.
Having babies, having a bit of a holiday up in the sun, and now it's time to head back down with the newborns and get back into the Antarctic feeding grounds. Humpbacks are very lucky. They've come back from the brink of extinction very well.
Right.
Which is a really, really good success story.
Yeah. Dundee was true to his word, and it wasn't long before I experienced one of the most unforgettable moments of my life.
There it is, right there, right there.
This is unreal.
Oh, it's good when they come in like that, isn't it?
That was so good.
And you can see that they've made the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The interaction's got really nothing to do with us. It's totally the whale's choice to be here right now. Here it is, it's still right here, it's coming up again.
There it is.
There's another one! These humpbacks are renownedly inquisitive animals.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, really, really friendly animals. In fact, often if we look over the back of the boat, there's a head poking up.
Amazing.
Staring at us, wondering what we're doing.
Oh, mate, yeah. I can now say I've seen one, you know, in real life. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy.
It is an amazing experience.
Have a look at these two. Not often you get this close to a whale ever.
This is pretty special.
That is unreal. That is special, all right. Wow. Yeah. Oh, putting on a show. After a memorable day of incredible experiences, I couldn't wait for what this fantastic road trip had in store next. Not far from Dunsborough, but offering a totally different experience on this glorious drive, is the Yallingup Cheese Company. Alana Langworthy is head cheesemaker and proud mum, working on a range of artisan cheeses that all possess her personal touch.
So this is the selection of cheese that we make here at Yallingup Cheese Company.
After sampling the delicious range of cheeses, it was time to have a crack at making some of Alana's special recipe feta.
It's a very technical, large spoon.
Give it a stir. So what's your background as well?
I'm actually a winemaker by trade. So I was working as a winemaker in France back in 2006.
Right.
And befriended a cheese-making family. I thought that'd be a really cool thing to do.
Yeah.
And here we are.
And here we are.
What I'm going to get you to do, this here is our starter culture.
Right.
And starter culture is a specially selected bacteria, which we add in to modify the pH of our milk. So what we're going to do is we're going to let that sit for a few minutes because it does take about 5 minutes for the pH to, you know, do its thing.
Once the milk is set, it's time to cut the curd.
And what this is doing is it's creating a greater surface area so that we can release more of the fluid from inside the curd out.
Right.
And then you'll see what looks like cheese.
The cutting process is repeated until enough whey is released and the curds are gently placed into cheesecloth.
And basically we're just going to fill up the hoop.
Fill the hoop.
And then this will drain overnight. So and it really is the nice thing about feta, you know, it doesn't take long.
Is that all right?
Yeah, perfect. So we'll cover it over and you have made feta.
Voila. I love it.
Bravo.
Coming up, I drive to the magnificent Margaret River region.
Yeah, happy days.
Happy days, all right. And catch up with one of Australia's best-known chefs. Along this wonderful drive is Margaret River. This popular region attracts over 500,000 visitors a year, enticed by its fresh produce, pristine coastlines, and of course, sensational wines. Vas Felix has a long and proud history in the area, and as one of the first vineyards established here, is celebrating 50 years of winemaking excellence.
So Virginia, what can people experience when they come here to Vas Felix?
When you arrive, one of the best places to start is actually in what used to be the old cellar door sales. It was a water tank under the ground where the wine was made and stored. It's now a beautiful museum of all of our older wines, and given that Vas Felix was the first winery and vineyard, you can also see the oldest Margaret River wine. You've got a wine lounge where you can sit down, have a charcuterie plate and a glass of wine.
Sounds terrible.
You can upgrade and go to the restaurant and have, I guess, an ultimate wine and food experience because we consider ourselves to have the highest level of Cabernet and Chardonnay, and we want the highest level of food to go with it. You can duck into the gallery. The Homes of Court collection is displayed there, changes over 3 or 4 times a year.
Oh, amazing.
And it's absolutely stunning. Right. So it's just got a beautiful vibe about the place. Tom Cullity came down in 1967 and planted the vines that are just sitting out here at the moment.
That was the good old doctor, wasn't it?
Dr. Tom Cullity,
yes.
Cardiologist. Slightly mad, given that it was a 5-hour drive from Perth every weekend.
Oh, really?
To get down here through dirt roads to plant vines because he thought this was going to be the greatest wine-growing region possibly in the world.
And I guess you as the chief winemaker here, what do you think makes a good wine?
It's got everything to do with the environment the vines are growing in. So the soil type, not too luxurious, but not too mean. But certainly the sunshine, the cooling breeze. The cooling breeze off that ocean keeps the fruit so vibrant and fresh.
Right.
It is a very unique environment, Margaret River. It's a cape 100 kilometres long, 30 kilometres wide, that sticks out in the middle of a big cold ocean that provides Mediterranean climate, warm dry summers but cool wet winters, and just this incredible cooling breeze from the ocean.
Another vineyard with a rich history of winemaking in the area is Leeuwin Estate. As well as selling wine to the world, they are renowned for staging some spectacular music events, and their passion for wine starts well before it's poured in the bottle.
There's a lot of behind-the-scenes work that I'm not sure that many consumers do know, or just the focus that we do put into play. But most importantly, it's about protecting the fruit that we see in the vineyard and then being able to diligently control that in the winery to showcase what wine is. It's a story. It's about how we manage our vineyards. It's about what the vintage conditions were, but it's also about what we're doing in the winery.
Is it a science?
It's the art of science.
The art of science. Oh.
As well as having a strong reputation for its wine, Margaret River has more recently garnered a reputation for its great food. Gourmet Escape, held here annually, is one of the nation's premier foodie events and attracts the best chefs from around the world. When I had the opportunity on this trip to meet one of the country's culinary greats and Gourmet Escape regular, of course, I jumped at it.
I'm going to cook something so simple, but I love. And being in Margaret River, very hard to pass a beautiful maren.
Yes.
It's one of the products when I do a dinner overseas and I want to showcase Australia for entree. I definitely use a maren. It's a little bit of France meet Australia, Australia meet France in a way of I'm going to use butter, but also I'm going to use finger lime from northern Queensland, some capers, some parsley, and I'm going to make a beurre noisette. So beurre noisette is hazelnut butter. And why we call it hazelnut butter is because it tastes like hazelnut.
Right.
And I just made a little bit of cauliflower puree.
Yes.
So you see it's getting some nice colour now.
And are you cooking at the Gourmet Escape this year?
Yes, so I'm cooking. I've been involved with Gourmet Escape for 5 years now. And to have all the top chefs of the world, they fly to Perth. And after that, you say, we've got another 3 hours driving.
Yeah.
And they arrive here and they say, my God, this is unbelievable. Yeah. And they love it.
Yeah. Amazing.
So I'm just going to put a little bit of cauliflower.
Cauliflower.
Just very simple, you know, I'm not trying to... So my butter, my finger lime. The lovely guys in the kitchen said, we got some beautiful flowers from the garden.
And this is all local produce as well?
Yes, absolutely. Oh. So I can tell you something, you have that with a glass of Lowen Estate Chardonnay.
Yeah, just, exactly.
Yeah, happy days.
Happy days, all right. I think I'll tuck in.
With a couple of souvenirs from the trip for Mum and Dad, I was off to catch up with an old mate who promised to show me some of his secret Margaret River spots. Coming up, I see the sights along the stunning Caves Road.
To me, this is the road of Margaret River.
And get off the beaten track. While being world-renowned for famous surf breaks, premium quality wineries and local produce, Margaret River also has a fascinating history, and a little bit of local knowledge goes a long way. Author and tour guide Sully McLeod knows this region like the back of his hand. His family was one of the first to settle in the area, and Margaret River holds a very special place in his heart.
This here is Allensbrook House, so this is the first house ever built in Margaret River. So Alfred and Ellen Bussell. My great-grandparents were about 5 kilometres down the road. That was the second house in Margaret River. You know, the thing that I like is that, you know, Margaret River's known for its wine, but the Margaret River wine as a region's been happening for 50 years, so pretty small amount of time. I kind of come down here and I think to myself, why did they choose this place? Like, if you can imagine, there was nothing here. So there would have been no roads, there would have been, and so they've kind of gone, okay, we got some running water through here. We've got a bit of protection, you know. We got the coast nearby. Look, I just have a connection to the place.
Very, very nice. What's next?
So I'm going to go cruising down Caves Road. Go to this spot, Conto's Beach. It's
Conto's Beach.
Really good view of the coastline. Margaret River's got a fair few things going for it with the wine and the, you know, the surfing and everything, but it's also got some pretty amazing views along the coast. I don't know, for me, you just get a sense of how pristine, untouched, underdeveloped, and how beautiful the coastline is. This little spot we're going to. Bit of a secret spot, amazing view of the coast. What do you think?
Mate, this is stunning.
Yeah?
Have a look at this.
So this...
Wow. Oh.
I just really enjoy taking people here because it's that one spot that, you know, you look north and south along the Cape and you just get that feeling of being isolated and just kind of all comes together. Yes, there's a guy down here, a mate of mine actually, Paul, runs a tour company, Surf and Dirt. It's pretty cool, his idea. So he'll get you on a bike and he'll take you through Baranup Forest, which is an amazing karri forest. Known this guy for a while, work with him, I think you're gonna like him.
Geez, the air's nice through here, Paul.
It is, really, really clean.
Magnificent. What a great spot.
Yeah, such a nice forest.
And this area is just purpose-made, really, for outdoor activities, isn't it?
Oh, it is, Shane. You've got so much variety in terms of the outdoors, just here in this Brannup Forest. Obviously the bike trails, which we're exploring today.
Yeah.
You've got the Cape to Cape walking track that goes along the coast through here, four-wheel drive trails, horse tracks, just an abundance of fun things to do.
And what's so unique, do you think, about this region?
Just the variety of trees. I mean, the karris here all around us, you won't find them anywhere else in the world.
Right.
They've still got a lot of growing to do. They will get up to about 80 metres in height.
Jeez, is that right? Tell us a little bit about the trails, mate, as well.
There's a really amazing trail network all through this forest, and it's not really on any maps or guidebooks. You really have to spend time out here exploring, so...
Well, what do you think, Paul? We go and check out the rest of this trail?
Oh, for sure, Shane.
Yep.
Let's go hit those log jumps.
You lead the way. Oh, log jumps.
It's a quick one, but it's, yeah, it's got some good thrills to it.
Keep you pretty fit, Paul. Oh, boy.
After a fantastic day full of Margaret River adventure and history, I was already looking forward to the next day of my leg, to Cape Leeuwin, and witnessing where two coasts and two oceans meet.
Well, it was a great day. I really enjoyed discovering more of the Margaret River region. Now, it's off to Cape Leeuwin we go.
It's no coincidence from where Caves Road got its name. Stretching over 100 kilometres from Busselton to Augusta, this area is home to some of the most spectacular caves in the world. And I was told Jewel Cave was among the very best.
Now, Hilary, these caves are like an underground wonderland, I think. Talk to us a little bit about them. How long have they been around?
Well, it actually all started around 1 million years ago by the movement of the coastal dunes.
1 million years ago.
And over the millennia, it started to cement them together.
Right.
And what it actually created was a ridge of fresh, young, soft limestone.
Right.
And then it started to hollow it out.
Right.
And this is called karst formation. In the case of Jewel Cave, the hollowing out process has continued by the movement of water from below. So water from above and from below us.
Right.
And that limestone ridge is amongst the youngest karst formations in the world, being only 1 million years old. Might sound very old. That's among the youngest. If you go to Jenolan Caves, I believe their karst formation is over 200 million years old. So it's just a baby by comparison. And there are around 110 different caves of varying sizes and degrees.
110 caves, wow.
This is beautiful. And it really is Mother Nature doing her best work. Those that haven't come in to see the cave are just in absolute awe.
Well, I'm definitely in awe.
A little further south on this amazing drive takes you to the southernmost tip of Western Australia, to the place where two oceans meet, and sitting right at its point is the iconic Cape Leeuwin Lighthouse.
And it's a pretty tall lighthouse, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the tallest on the mainland of Australia. This is 39 metres to the top.
Dare I say, how do we get up?
176 steps, mate.
Oh, really? So, Paul, tell us a bit about the history of this lighthouse.
Well, it was built as a result of the gold rush in Kalgoorlie in the 1890s. It was built by the colony. They had the money to build the lighthouse because they'd had 22 shipwrecks around the Cape during that time. But it's interesting that we've had one shipwreck since the lighthouse was built in 1910. So 22 shipwrecks before it was built, just one since. 32 times in the year, the winds exceed 100 kilometres an hour. So it's an extremely dangerous coastline. What you get?
Thanks, mate. Oh, wow. Now I know why you've been here 18 years.
Oh, mate, it's just awesome. That's Australia. We're at the corner. Two coasts, two oceans.
This is incredible.
Sunrise over one ocean, sunset over the other. Sometimes you get a sunset, then you see the full moon rise. Definitely a bird's eye view.
Yeah, oh, mate, this is sensational.
So you can visit the site, climb the lighthouse, have a coffee in the cafe. It's all pretty good.
This is magic.
It is pretty unique.
Magic part of the world, mate, I've got to say.
It is pretty unique.
Before I left the incredible sights of WA, I'd heard that Steve Pizzati and his driving experience team were up north, doing what they do best. The chance to get a few tips from a legend like Steve was just too great. And after a safety briefing, we hit the track.
You need one more thing.
Right, okay.
There you go, helmet.
About to ruin the hair. Okay, perfect.
Oh, there's that power.
There it is.
Yep, 260 kilowatts. You've just unleashed them all.
Oh, it's amazing. So, I mean, you're the man behind the Audi driving experience. What's involved in all that?
Well, we run all these different driving programs for anyone. You don't have to be an Audi owner to do it. And we've got all sorts of different levels, all the way from advanced driver training, sort of defensive stuff, all the way through to driving race cars. And one of the best things about this job is that I get to drive the fastest, latest cars all over the world. And at the very end of it, they pay me for it. Yeah. Don't tell Audi, I'd actually do it for free.
With cars, I mean, over the years, obviously they've changed quite a lot. What are some of the innovations you've seen over time?
There's been more technological advances in the last 5 years with cars than the preceding 50. I've been lucky enough to drive the first of the sort of semi-autonomous cars, cars that drive themselves, and that's really exciting. When you think of it, you love driving, but you hate commuting.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Imagine you've got the computer that can take away the rubbish bit, which is that sort of sitting in bumper-to-bumper traffic, and then when you want to take over, you go for a nice drive through the hills, or on a racetrack like we are now, you drive.
Yes.
And you sort of go, so it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's been some amazing innovations in autonomous technology, and every 6 months there's something new out there, and that's pretty exciting to see that technology as well.
Well, what a great drive it was, from Busselton to the southernmost point of WA. We'll see you next time for another one of Australia's Best Drives.